Above the Knee is a thriller from the team behind the festival favourite, which was Good Boy. This is very confusing. Dan's here. Good Boy is a film that I've seen over the course of, 10 years or so. I think there's 3 different films that are called Good Boy.
Oh, this is Good Boy, the one about the guy who's got a pet pup, but the pup is obviously a man in a pup suit, right?
I think that's the one that this director's previously made. There's one that's coming up at the London Film Festival, which is also called Good Boy, which stars Stephen Graham.
I actually didn't mind Good Boy. So it's like, and I think it's a Norwegian director. So Norwegian horror is like pretty niche. I didn't mind Good Boy, and I probably had a similar reaction to this. And obviously, like, maybe it feels like the director's carving a niche in, like, almost like sexual dysmorphia in some way.
I suppose it's a similar theme when you think about the story and how relatable that could be for other people that perhaps are going through something similar. Maybe.
And on a positive, I mean, we'll get into it. This is not a Friday night popcorn movie that you're going to sit down with your family and enjoy, but like, it's kind of interesting that there is a director telling this kind of story and doing it in a, I would say, reasonably like non-judgmental way. I'm not quite sure about that. I'm still percolating on it because I only finished watching it 10 minutes ago. I mean, we give a bit of background that the thing that they're talking about in this film is real. This thing is called BID, which I'd not heard of before, but I've just
Body Integrity Dysphoria, isn't it?
That's right. Basically means that you have a part of your body or a sense like sight that you don't want and you want to get rid of it. And I read up about it and it's real. And yeah, and I think in hindsight, I'm not quite sure. In a way, it feels exploitative making a horror film about it, but then also the way that they do it in this film doesn't feel like them. There's sort of a bit of a positive spin on it. I know
what you mean. I don't think it's judgmental either. I think perhaps I might have read somewhere that one of the producers or someone involved has gone through a similar experience or something. So I think it comes from a good place.
Yeah,
I don't think it. But I know what you mean. I know what you're saying because it's like, oh, it's a little bit shoehorned, isn't it? Or we think of that concept when you think of the story and the reason why the character's going through that. It's like, let's ramp it up. Let's make it really gruesome. Because you look at the trailer and the trailer is, it would have you believe that it's really, really gory. I don't think it really is, actually.
No, and you don't really ever see anything, even in that sort of final 5 minutes when everything escalates. But yeah, I wondered about that. I looked up the main actor to see if actually, because he's the producer as well, and I thought, is this like almost like a PSA? Like, have they made this to kind of try and educate the public on what this is? But that seems weird to do. If you're going to do that through the medium of a horror movie rather than like a drama or something else, because like there are horror elements. It's confusing.
The reason behind it, it's a good talking point, I guess, if people don't know about the film and it's word of mouth advertising, which is often the best type of advertising, isn't it? It's like you hear people talking about, oh, that's quite a fresh concept. That's quite a story that hasn't been done before, maybe.
It definitely hasn't been done before. I think it comes down to ultimately, this is the tricky thing with reviewing films, is like, ultimately I still watch films to be entertained, and it's not like a film I would ever watch again because it's just...
No, yeah. I'm the same. It's a bit not preachy, but it's kind of like it's a little bit hard work. Because it doesn't really feel like entertainment as such. It feels like a bit more than that. I don't want it to be too intellectual.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Horror, I think horror is an interesting one because sometimes it does sort of. You just think, why am I watching this? Like, why do I have to be a horror fan and then put myself through this kind of thing? And like, it was watchable. Like it kind of moved along at a pace, and there were moments that I was like quite tense. I actually found the tensest scene. There's a scene where he has to give a presentation, and I'm like, oh, it's so cringe.
Oh no, yeah, you could totally relate to that if you've been in that situation.
Yeah.
But let's quickly talk about the story, because the story it's Freddie Singh, isn't it? Who's the actor who plays the main character, Amir. He's a 26-year-old actor. I think he's from Oslo. He's from Norway. He plays someone who's going out with a character called Kim, who's Julie Abrahamson. She began her acting career at the age of 13, so she's been in movies quite a while. I'm guessing she's probably a similar age. But yeah, Amir is, like we mentioned at the beginning, he has a problem. He's got an issue with his leg. He thinks his leg is rotten, and he kind of contemplates the thought of chopping his leg off, hence the title Above the Knee, which obviously, you know, you do see him at one point with a saw, and there's some grisly sound effects as well during that scene, which I found quite unnerving.
And it's, you know, I mean, I must admit, it kind of caught me in that sense of like, I watched it and initially I'm sort of doing what the characters are doing. There's that initial sort of judgmentalness of like, oh, that's crazy. And then now that I've kind of read about it and know that it's a real thing, I think what was interesting, that if you read about the very few, I mean, it's very rare, but there are the few cases that have happened, the people that have finally gone through with an amputation have actually ended up being like almost completely fixed overnight. Apparently it completely resolves whatever the dysmorphia is. And it gets you thinking about, okay, I think society probably going to take a long time to catch up if that was going to become a thing, but it may be a lot more sympathetic to the film. Again, it just makes me just wonder, like, what message were you I don't really know what they were trying to get across.
There's another interesting character who Amir and Kim see on TV as someone, this woman who's going through a similar thing where she's got sunglasses on, and it turns out that she wants to be blind. I don't know whether I found a lot of it believable, though. That's one of the problems that I've got with it. Their reactions, their interactions.
Yes,
didn't feel
I'm trying to think now. There was a particular part, I think. There's a particular bit, without going into too many spoilers, where he hurts himself, but then sort of it's very sort of quickly forgotten about, and it's all about driving the plot forward a little bit. So, but that injury sort of goes away very quickly. Like,
I know,
it's quite inconsequential. And it's like it's a hammer, mate. Like, you've just like hammer against bone, and like we're fine. So, yeah, I mean, I would just want to go and find out more about why it was made and who made it, because I think that would probably give you a bit of a clue about what. It just wasn't immediately obvious about, again, what I was supposed to take away from it. Like, this is supposed to be sympathetic. If it's supposed to be sympathetic, why do it through a horror medium? Because that feels kind of exploitative.
So I've got a quote here from the director who said, when he started making this film, he heard about Body Integrity Dysphoria, BID, felt that it was a concept ripe for a great body horror and psychological thriller. But when I read more of first-hand accounts by people who claim to have this diagnosis, I started to really feel for these people, especially considering how other people reacted to their stories. So I think he's kind of covered that. I think, you know, that, like you said, you initially think, oh, you know, you don't really sympathise with the character at first, but then you begin to, because of the way the story's played out. I guess.
And actually that's interesting knowing that, because it's like, you know, it's probably the thought process we've gone through is, oh, well, watch this. It sounds like a good body horror. Like, I can see why you'd initially think it would make a good horror movie. But actually, the more you find out about it, more you're like, well, this is real. And actually, this impacts people. And actually, the solution that he's going for does work. And then that's interesting, right? From a moral dilemma perspective of you kind of allowing people to kind of go through with something that is removing, I don't know, there's a lot of like moral stuff in it. Ultimately, though, it comes down to like, is it fun to watch? So,
exactly. Yeah, and I agree. I thought it had a pace to it. I mean, it's only an hour and a quarter long, so it doesn't outstay its welcome. It's not a really long movie. Yeah. I think the pacing was okay. I thought it kept my attention to a certain extent. I didn't completely buy the interactions, though, between the characters, especially Amir and Kim, and also the boss as well. Amir's boss. He gets this new job with this guy. His friend comes around for dinner, and there's a lot of moments where, you know, they're not getting on because Amir obviously is taking time off work. His boss isn't happy about that, but then his boss doesn't really know anything and initially. And I don't know, it's like Kim often brushed off his disinterest in the relationship as well. And she seemed to be really curious about him looking on his laptop. And obviously he was looking into ways of getting rid of his leg. And it just seemed really fleeting. It didn't seem like that was a genuine relationship to me. It didn't seem those two really knew each other.
I would like to have seen her almost go through the same journey that we do as viewers, which is actually to come to understand it and try and help. And I didn't feel like she was ever particularly warm or like particularly like wanting to understand it once she found out what was going on. I look back, I mean, there's a bit in it where she basically says that he's like, should be in an asylum. I forget now whether that was a dream sequence or not. Maybe I just didn't really watch it properly, but I think it was real. Where she basically called him out on it. But I agree with you. I think actually the fact that it was an hour and 15 minutes, it really sells why we now have streaming, because there can now be films that can come out that can be an hour, and actually it's enough. Like, that was basically a short film to me. So it's hard to have a really strong feeling about it because it was very fleeting, but I thought it told a very interesting story. It educated me about a thing I didn't know about. I'll probably never watch it again, but at least it did something new, and it kind of brought a fresh perspective to something that...
Yeah, exactly. Quite original. And, you know, I think if those relationships had been a bit more complex and more believable, I think I probably would have enjoyed the film more. I don't know whether that's just being too picky, whether that's asking too much. I guess, you know, when you are watching actors play out roles, you do want to fall into that life, don't you? You want to fall into their surroundings, and I didn't really get sucked into that.
I think that it does that thing sometimes, which does bother me with horror generally, is we just land and it's like, why has this not been issued before? Like, it just seems to be that one day Amir's decided that his leg needs to go. And like, this stuff apparently starts like in childhood. Obviously we're meeting him at a point in time in a movie, but it does feel a bit like, oh, okay, it's happening now because this is the 20 days we're focusing on. But
I don't know about you, but that wound me up a little bit. You see these captions, you know, these titles come up on the screen saying it's 15 days until the accident, in inverted commas. And that really started to bug me afterwards. It's like, okay, well, just get to the point. I felt like it was like such a big build up, and then it didn't really pay off.
It wasn't like the best framing device. I think for an hour, like, you didn't need it. Like, just because in a way it was like it's leading us to something rather than just that being a surprise. It's like, well, clearly something's going to happen and we're just going to wait for it to play out. This is the joy of doing like reviews of stuff when people reach out and say, do you want to review this? It's probably would never have seen this.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have seen it. And like I say, if it was a 3-hour movie, I probably would have had more negative thoughts. But I think it was an interesting concept. It was well told to a certain extent.
Yeah, I would have been wiggling my mouse if it had been like 20 minutes more. Like, when's this finishing? I didn't. I wasn't bored. I think it was perfectly timed. I mean, more films should be like 80 minutes, like 70 minutes. I thought it was...
Oh my God, I hear you. I totally hear you. I mean, it's so unnecessary. Some of these 3-hour films, it's like you could have just cut to the chase. Yeah. It's like Sean that used to review with us. He always used to say it could have been 20 minutes shorter. It's like a famous catchphrase of his, which I think sums that up quite nicely.
Yeah, I think most horrors need to be 90 minutes. Like, we talked about it before we did this review, but The Conjuring Part 4 was 2 hours 15 minutes. Like, come on, there's so much that could have got cut.
Have you ever seen Night of the Comet?
I have. A really 80s film with the big,
Jeremy bought it for me for Christmas on Blu-ray, and we've only just started to watch it. We started watching it last night, and that's an hour and a half, and it's so much fun because you know that it's kind of like old school 90-minute length, you know, where everything was always 90 minutes, and it's going to wrap up quite nicely. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. We haven't seen the last 30 minutes, but we're going to watch that. I love it.
We've lost the art of pace. Like, come on, like, wind this up. Like, actually, but there are more films coming out now, like low budget horror that don't mind being like an hour and 20. And it's like, it's great. Let's keep this trend going, because it's not like you're going to blockbuster now and you need your money's worth. Like, it's quite nice when like this today. I haven't been thinking, I've got to spare 2 hours to get through that film. Like, I could watch that in like the space of a couple of TV episodes or something. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's yeah. So star rating. I have a funny feeling you're probably going to go a bit higher than me, maybe.
Oh, for what it was, I'll go with a 3, just because like it was well made, it was well acted, it was told an interesting story. But like I would say, I'll never go back to it. I can't say I enjoyed it, but I think for the artistic merit of it, I think a 3 out of 5 is probably fair.
Yeah, I'm going to. Because I think I probably, the more I think about it, the more I think, okay, well, I did enjoy it. It wasn't like it was a slog. But it's just the issue I have with the believability of the characters. I'm not saying they were bad performances as such.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like they were a couple to me. And that means so much.
I do sort of see that there wasn't much of a relationship between any of them. Like, they didn't seem to there wasn't a lot of legacy. So I get that.
Left me a bit cold.
Yes, agreed. It's almost like Amir, actually, the one that we're supposed to think is kind of out of his mind, essentially, in the film, is like probably the more grounded one. At least he knows what he's trying to achieve. The
writer-director is Viljar Bo. I think that's how you pronounce his name. The O has the Norwegian slant. What's that called with the line through the O?
Is that
B? It's like Bjork, isn't it? Bjork is Björk because there's the umlauts above the.
That's it. There's an umlaut on Björk.
So Viljar Bo, I think.
Yeah, it's not him by the sounds of it, because it sounds like from your quote he learned about it and was like, I can make a movie out of this. Yeah. But there's got to be someone in the producing or something that has this or understands it better, because it's very niche. I mean, it's like, yeah, there are probably other conditions like this that if they're going to make a film about it, you'd kind of want them to have done a bit of research. It's a bit of a little oddity, this one, isn't it? It's
an odd one, yeah. So it's called Above the Knee. It is out now on digital. You could stream it at home in the comfort of your own home. Just quickly, you mentioned The Conjuring, Last Rites. I got an invite by Warner's to see the screening, and they must have either forgotten or conveniently decided, no, we don't want you to come and see it because I know you're going to hate it. You did actually pay money to go and see it. Did you? Or did you get a press screening? I
paid money to. Well, I used a free ticket that I get once a month.
Oh,
so
excellent.
Thank God. Because you know what, I think if I didn't do Nancy Boys, which is my channel, I probably wouldn't have bothered, because The Devil Made Me Do It, I thought was pretty average. What I don't understand is that, like, the first two movies in that franchise are both directed by James Wan, and were both
they were strong.
Really good.
The second one is my favourite, I think.
I love the second one. I think part of it's because it's in Enfield, so it's relatable, and it like has that 70s, 80s like aesthetic to it. But they were really well crafted, and I just thought Michael Chavez, who directed this one, also directed both Nuns, The Curse of La Llorona, like all the crap.
Kiss of Death, isn't it? That is a kiss of death.
Yeah, like all the really average Conjuring universe films that aren't the main franchise. And unfortunately, we've now got a franchise that I used to quite like is now 50% not very good.
Yeah, it's become more meh.
Yeah, really meh. It was very meh. I felt like every scene, I was just waiting for the scene to end to get to what would come next. And it never reached a point where it got interesting.
So if you were watching that at home on your laptop, you would have been mouse jiggling.
I would. Oh my God, 2 hours, 15 minutes. I was in the cinema, like, trying not to huff and puff because I had a friend with me. My friend Ralph came, and I was like, I can't be too like, oh, please let this finish. But,
kill me now.
Yeah, please. They have this whole montage. There's it's kind of not even a spoiler because it's in the reviews, but it finishes with a wedding, and they get like people back from the old films to go to the wedding, and it's really quite cheesy. Even James Wan, the director, is there, but clearly not as James Wan. It's like, who's that random guy? Oh, he's the director of the first two films.
No. Oh, God. I mean, to be honest, the first two were my favourites. I think the second was favourite for the reasons you mentioned about it, obviously being a story that I liked, although it's, obviously it was a big hoax, wasn't it? The Enfield haunting, it wasn't real at all. But, I mean, all of this is hokum, isn't it?
Yeah,
they were con artists.
It's fun hokum, and that's why the first two really work, but they just don't really seem to do much with the actual real life haunting part of this one, which is a real case. And there are stories about how scary it was, but they just didn't seem to be that interested in it. It was more of a foil for like them to hand the reins over to Judy Warren and make a new franchise. So just very strange. And it's like, I love The Conjuring 2, but that house is like a TARDIS inside. Like, it's this little terrace from the front, and it's massive.
I know,
it's the same with this house. It's like they're walking around. There's like 8 other people in the house, and they're walking around upstairs like there's no one else there. It's just very weirdly done. I kind of hope Michael Chavez goes and finds like a different career, or just does more low budget like horror. I wish they hadn't trusted him with it.
I'm guessing it will be number one in the box office this week.
It's already made more than like loads of other horror movies, and it's going to be. Yeah, and I said to you last week, I think it was on another review we did, that the Conjuring movies, this sounds really snobby, but they are for like mainstream audiences. So if you're a horror fan, like, there's nothing in there that you haven't seen before. Like, the scares are really weak, and it will attract people that are just like, I'll go and see that. And we were surrounded by people that were texting and talking and like not caring, like. It's that kind of film, and that's fine. There's a market for it, but
yeah, exactly.
We watch films about people having their knees cut off, and
we do. It's good to see you, Dan. What's coming up on Nancy Boys? What's happening? Well, Conjuring review in depth.
I've just done my Conjuring review, so that went out yesterday morning. I went with my friend Ralph, and he was actually a bit more charitable than I was. I was pretty ranty about it, so that's good. And then I think we're kind of a bit of a weird period now. I think we've seen a lot of the horror that was going to come out this year. Now it's little
Frankenstein
at the end of the year. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Frankenstein. I think that'll be good.
I'm going to be seeing Frankenstein at the London Film Festival, which is in a couple of weeks. I'm very excited about that. Yeah, because it's out in December, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, is it a press screening?
It's part of the festival, so yeah, we've got press accreditation for it. But I mean, you can get tickets. I think tickets are on sale in like a week or something.
Okay.
But no, try and apply for accreditation.
Yeah, did it last year. Got to 2 things, but we'll try again.
I've got to say, the London Film Festival is so strong this year. There's a few horrors, there's a few psychological thrillers. It's a brilliant lineup of films. I don't think there are any films that I don't want to see actually on the lineup this year, which is really unusual for me. I normally go, no, I don't.
I'm on holiday the week before, so if I come back and see what's on that weekend, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good to see you, Dan. Catch up with you on the next one.
Will do. Thanks for having me. See you soon.
See you later.